I know what you're thinking. Really, I do. There's what, 100, maybe 115 of you in here. Couple thousand of you watching over the internet. And a big red dot and 2 red TED signs. Oh yes, this is a TED Talk about overcoming amazing obstacles. Let's be honest, some of you are preparing to feel inspired, but a lot of you are preparing to feel like crap. Because, hey, she can't even tie her own shoes, and she's up here giving a TED Talk. What have I done with my life? Those are the people I want to talk to today. Stop it. Stop comparing yourself to me or anyone else. Growing up disabled, you are compared to everybody. If everyone's walking at 9 months, you better be walking at 9 months. Everyone's driving at 16. So, Mom, Dad, where are my car keys? After a while, you start to feel like you have to do double just to keep up. Everyone moves away from home after college. Great, move 8 times on the way and start up your own production company in a completely foreign country. And that's how I ended up an actor in London. But comparison worked well to a point when I and others were on the same track. In school, you're all pretty much going on the same line. The problem comes in after graduation, when you go off on a totally different track to everyone else. I'm in London trying to make my way as an actor and a writer with cerebral palsy, breaking into the mainstream scene, and all of my other friends are back getting ready to walk down the aisle and making babies. The biggest problem is not only am I on a different track to them, I'm on a different track to everyone else ever existing. There's yet to be a mainstream actor and writer with cerebral palsy who is known and accomplished to the level that I want to be. So, I did what a lot of young women would do. I cried a lot. And then they called my mom. My mom had me, her only child, at the age of 25. 2 weeks later, her cousin had twin girls, born perfectly beautiful and healthy. My mom and dad had a choice to make. Either drive themselves nuts with the comparison, or they could simply refuse to compare. 25 years later, I realized that same decision was facing me. And here's the thing about comparison. All right, so I wasn't meeting my milestones, and first 2 years of my life I did a whole lot of nothing. But when I did finally learn to walk, my mom and dad never said, "That's great, Athena, you're about 9.5 years late." Seriously, what kind of parents would they be? I didn't have to walk down the aisle. I didn't have to make a baby. I didn't have to be like everyone else. I had my own life to live, and it was a line that no one had ever gone down before. Because achievement, you see, is relative. This idea of achievement being relative fascinated me. I started asking everyone I knew, how do you define achievement? The response was overwhelming. Everyone, doctors, royalty, single moms, heads of state, movie stars, hedge fund managers, they all wanted to talk about this one question. How do you define achievement? So, I took the only recording devices I had, my iPhone and my iPad, and having no idea what I was doing, started to talk to people. Within a year, I had talked to over 100 people. Within 18 months, I had completed my first documentary. 2 weeks ago, the project had its second anniversary, and we now have an online platform devoted to the subject. The project is called Day of Small Things. Guess what? Everybody questions their own position from time to time. I sat in a room with one of the highest paid film stars in history, who said, at my age, I don't feel like I've achieved anything. Turns out, producers, Booker Prize winners, newspaper directors, museum curators, all question their own position from time to time. Know this, expect this, understand this, and when the day comes that you feel like a fraud, remind yourself, so does everyone else. I also found out that achievement is not proportional to the amount of attention you receive. Let me unpack that for you, because it's a big one. Regardless of if your achievement is on national television or at midnight in your kitchen, the fact is that you did it. Not that you were seen to do it, and not that anyone tweeted about it. Another person I interviewed, a food critic, said, most people don't know I've written a novel, but in my mind, that is what I'm proudest of, even if nobody bought it. Turns out, internal achievement is a lot more powerful than external fame. Thirdly, achievement has a lot to do with where you started. I was a really good student in high school. It was expected that I go to college, and I did. That wasn't an achievement. Not in the same way it would be for someone who struggled at school. Most people say, I wish I had more money or more talent or a better job, and that's fine. But your next sentence from that needs to be, given that this is my position in life, what can I do from here? And how do I move forward? And yeah, there's a lot of injustice in this world that needs to be tackled, and a lot of things aren't fair. I cannot up here and deny that. But figure out what you can do, even if it's just moving ahead a little. Lastly, understand that to achieve anything takes time. Lots of time. Look, I know we're all here at TEDx, and person X did whatever, and person Y always tells the truth, and this guy started an entire charity when someone asked him for a pencil. Sorry? Who does that? And for goodness sake, what happens if you ask him for a pen? But while we are all sleek and well-rehearsed up here, I can assure you that every single one of us has had dark nights of the soul, times where it feels like nothing would happen, instances where all we could do is wait. For some of us, waiting is the biggest leap of faith we will ever take. There is no track. Life doesn't go in a straight line, and I don't think it's meant to. Before I started this project, my greatest achievement, according to me, was learning how to walk at 10 and getting my first play produced in the West End at 27. Now, it's a day of small things. Talking to hundreds of people all over the world about how they define success and getting to share it with others on film, on television, and online. But the day I learned to tie my own shoes, forget the plays, the published books, the films, that will be my greatest achievement. For a while, at least. It's something that most people accomplish by the time they're 5 or 6. But that's the challenge that's been put in front of me. The fact that everyone else can do it doesn't matter. You all have your own challenges out there to face, and they look totally different to mine. So, it seems fitting to end this talk the way I start all my interviews. Who are you? What do you do? And how do you define achievement? Thank you.